Hi, thanks for joining my video. Today I'm going to talk about how monogamy is a path to enlightenment, why, and all the intricacies. So please subscribe so you can learn more about how you're on your path to enlightenment. We all are. And take some tips. So monogamy. Let's start with today's society and why I think that I've gotten a lot of guidance over the past few years about monogamy and why it's so important, and how the lack of monogamy in today's society is a challenge, and it is creating a lot of challenge for all of us. So why monogamy and not polyamory or polygamy or, all the open marriages and all those things? I mean, yes, you can attain enlightenment through, some people can watch paint dry and attain enlightenment. It happens differently for everyone, but I talk about monogamy being a path to enlightenment, but another way to say that would be monogamy is a really viable path for personal growth. And we see that evidenced by so many societies in history. The most successful societies, long-lasting, prosperous, stable, all promoted monogamy and the nuclear family. And I look outside today, and that's, we're having challenges. We're, about 20 years away from population collapse. Biggest problem the world's facing, population collapse. So why is monogamy a really viable path to enlightenment? And how can people use that kind of personal relationship to become the best version of themselves? So, and how I see it. So I'm a monogamous person. I am not promiscuous. I've had one night stand when I was 18, and I knew the guy. He was my roommate's best friend. So that's not a culture that I personally have dove into, but I read all the research on it, and then the history that most societies, monogamy promotes a stable, prosperous society. So I, kind of am relying on that, as well as the internal, the guidance, my intuition has been quite strong on that front. Well, within a relationship between a man and a woman, when we attract people into our lives, so our souls organize every moment to give us opportunities for healing, learning, and growth. So the people that come into our lives are there for a reason, and we're there to learn from each other. There's always a lesson to learn from every interaction, every relationship. There's always a lesson. So within a relationship, a monogamous relationship, the opportunity for emotional intimacy is heightened significantly if both members embrace that, which I encourage you, to embrace that, because that is how you're going to have personal growth. So, and in the reflection of your opposite, men and women being opposites, is how you can best see yourself, okay? Because if something happens, and I'm saying, well, no, that's your fault, you're bad, and he can show me how what I did led to this bad thing happening, I go, oh my gosh, what I thought was you is actually me. It's not you, but that's me, and now I know I have emotional pain to deal with. And the reverse also happens. He could blame me for things. I go, well, let me point that out. This is actually you, and here are the reasons. I go, oh, okay, that is me. I'm going to heal that part of myself and become a better version of myself. So within the relationship dynamic and the trust that is formed, the bond, the opportunity for vulnerability as appropriate, okay, and I'll get into that in a second, as appropriate, creates so many opportunities to heal, learn, and grow. I mean, when I feel safe, I can look inside myself and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know I hated myself there, and oh, I didn't know I was insecure over here, and oh, I didn't know I'm not confident over there. And I can do a lot of that on my own, but in the reflection of the other, I see myself so much more clearly. So inside of a relationship, of a monogamous relationship, encouraging and diving into that emotional intimacy is, and I've seen this, especially in the past few years where I've been focusing on my personal growth. The men that have come into my life have also grown tremendously as well. So it's, it's a mutual, it's a give and take. It goes back and forth that, I heal and then he heals, and he heals and I heal. And through that mutual mutual reflection of each other, it's really easy to say, oh, that's the feminine. Oh, no, that's the masculine. Oh, no, that's the feminine. Oh, that. And it's kind of like a sorting. So if we kind of show up in the relationship a little bit chaotic, by diving into the emotional intimacy and deciding what's mine and what's theirs, and what's healthy and what's balanced and what's not, and exploring all that and trusting each other and committing. That commitment is key. Because there's going to be times where I'm more messed up than he is, and times that he's more messed up than me. But the commitment, the loyalty, loyalty is something that's, we all need a bigger dose of loyalty in today's society. Is so important to feel safe. Women, as a woman, I want to feel safe physically with a man. And I had to test that a lot because I was afraid of men until 2.5 years ago when I saw that inside of myself. I had a fear of all men. So what kind of relationships can I have with men when I fear all of them, but I didn't know it? So I would do things that would show that fear, but I wasn't cognizant of it because I didn't have self-awareness. I hadn't healed yet. So when we dive into that emotional intimacy and the man feels safe, how does a man want to feel safe? We think, well, men, they're safe. What? That's what women think. Okay, but men need to be safe emotionally. Okay, so men are looking for emotional safety with women, and women are looking for physical safety with men. Yes, we need the emotional safety, and yes, they need the physical safety, but the larger, what are they really looking for, is that exchange. So what I've noticed is that I'm able to draw men closer into me now that I am an emotionally safe space for men. I know how to forgive. I know how to have compassion. I'm nurturing. I'm vulnerable. I know how to engage in emotional intimacy. I know how to self-reflect. I take accountability for my problems. Because a man's not emotionally safe if everything's his fault. How is he safe there? If everything is his fault, which is just impossible, that one person is all the whole problem in a relationship. So I would, encourage you to think about that. Like, are you creating an emotionally safe space for your man? And why I say that emotionally safe, you got to be careful about that. I don't mean codependent, and this isn't the video to get into that. I recommend watching Alexander Grace's videos on that. But he has an amazing YouTube channel. So providing that safe space for men is just instrumental to being able to heal, learn, and grow in a relationship, and to retain your man. Retaining men is so hard. And what we see going on now is the top tier men are basically having sex with the majority of the women. 80% of women are going after 10% of men. So, that's just never going to work out. Then all women, monogamy. Well, you're looking in the wrong category, because those men at the top, they got their problems too, because they're so promiscuous and they haven't committed to one woman and gone in deep with one woman. Why? You ask yourself that. Why would a player not go in deep? And where does that come from? And why so many women, but not deep with one woman? Well, we all learn how to have a relationship with the opposite gender, the opposite sex, from our parents. So if a guy is highly promiscuous, there's a strong chance that he doesn't have a great relationship with his mom. And then what? And then a woman who's highly promiscuous could also not have a great relationship with her dad. Now, for me, I didn't go that route. I went the route of, I'll make you fall in love with me, but I'm not giving you access to me. I'll give you some of my energy that's all healing and wonderful, but I don't know how to have a relationship, so I'm just going to get the good part from me and basically fuck you. And I wasn't cognizant of that until the last couple of years. And so I've stopped that because that is not acceptable either. But that was my tactic to get the attention that I wanted or, needed, desired as a woman. Women want attention, men want sex, right? So I got my attention because I'm selfish, but, he's got to wait. So I, not anymore. But there's so many aspects of how monogamy can lead, have a path to enlightenment. So we also need to talk about hypergamy and how hypergamy is a natural driver of personal growth. And I haven't seen it talked about online like that, but I had an epiphany a few months ago about that, because, you know, I'm watching channels like Fresh and Fit, and they talk about, well, woman doesn't help me build. Woman doesn't, like, okay, well, why? Do you not know how to build with a woman? Why do you need so many women who contribute so little, which they say, oh, she can contribute 1 or 2%. What? So the value of femininity is missing in society. And femininity for a man's personal growth is essential. And it's a major part of emotional intimacy. So, you know, I mentioned on the channel that I helped Justin Waller and Andrew Tate last year. So, and I just DM'd Justin. I wasn't, you know, I never actually met him in person. But what did I have to offer? I had to offer emotional intimacy. And what did that do? You know, he's already extremely successful, right? I mean, he came from not that much money, and yet he is a multimillionaire and the youngest member of American Steel Board. Like, he's an incredible man who's had a significant accomplishment, right? So what did I have to offer? Well, I had to offer emotional intimacy and all that it is, and, like, you know, feedback. Why aren't you loving on yourself this way? What about valuing yourself that way? What about, you know, changing that part so that you can have more balance in your life? This is what femininity and what we see has to offer. Remember when I was talking to the first responder, I immediately thought, well, how are you staying balanced? Well, how are you taking care? Because he teaches and he works a lot of hours. I mean, they're really busy. But my first go-to is, how are you emotionally balanced? Because I'm the emotional center in any relationship with a man, because I'm the feminine. The feminine is the emotional center. So I go right for that because I'm healthy in my femininity and I'm connected to my authentic self, and that healthy femininity, intuition, compassion, nurturing just naturally comes out of me for men that I care about, because I want everybody to become the best version of themselves. You know, I'm making these YouTube videos so people can do that along with me, and if you can learn from me, then, you know, great. So I share. So hypergamy and that natural desire to grow and expand consciousness is what it is. So when a woman uses her intuition and she's super connected to source, the universe, God, her soul, you know, however you want to call it, okay, and has that internal guidance of, like, this is your soul's plan, this is your life's purpose, and if you listen to me, the soul, then I'm going to keep you on track, right? And not only keep you on track, I'm going to keep your man on track, so that your family has the most abundance possible. And abundance can come in different forms. It can come in love, money, land, all different forms. Abundance comes in. I'm just saying positive abundance. We can attract in negative abundance too, but that's not what this channel's for. So embracing feminine, hypergamous nature is a natural driver towards enlightenment and becoming the best version of yourself. So but a woman has to get in touch with her femininity and understand that being submissive in the relationship is in her best interest, because that's her natural self, that's her authentic self from her soul. And the man, being the leader, the masculine, is in his authentic self. And only when we're focused on becoming our authentic self, that's when we have growth and expansion. If we're trying to, like, make ourselves something that we're not, or take on work that's not ours, like people often do. How many people do you know that are worried about other people all day long, but they can do nothing about it? That is taking on work that your soul didn't give you. Okay? Your soul's only going to give you work that you're supposed to accomplish. I could sit here and worry about my dad all day long, but that's not going to get anybody anywhere, and it's going to make me worse off and everybody around me worse off for it. So I don't do it. I only try to do work that my soul and my internal guidance gives me, because that is how I become the best version of myself. And when women get in connection with their femininity, then they can bring their intuition into relationships, and all of this will naturally blossom. So I highly encourage the exploration of monogamy. I highly encourage women to explore their femininity, and for men to learn how to encourage a woman's femininity and support that. And also exploring submission. Submission's a gift. And I think that women look at submission in a way that it's like it's evil, but it's not. It's just natural. So if you imagine a woman and a man flirting in a bar and they haven't talked yet, they're looking at each other. How does he know when to come over? If he wants to come over, when she looks down, when she submits. So the woman submits first, then the man decides. So, I hear a lot of talk in society about, sexual, like BDSM, as the man forces the woman into submission. Well, that's not healthy dynamic between a man and a woman. A healthy woman knows how to submit so that she submits to her man and then he decides what to do next. So her action is submission, then he decides next steps. Submit, decide, submit, decide. And that, plays out in relationships and sexually. I had to explore my sexuality through all my healing. And when I learned that I'm in control of the energy as the woman, and that when I know how to make my energy super submissive, then that makes his energy super masculine, and the sexual experience just is like, skyrockets. Because now we've like pulled each other apart like this, and then we just come back together with this explosion in the end, which is what you want and how you expand your consciousness. So I encourage you to think about how monogamy could be a path to your best personal self, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, and that kind of dividing of the two. This is me, this is you, and then now we're balanced, and then we keep going together and expanding together. Anyway, I hope that helps. Have a great day.